So AMD was supposedly going to announce their RX 9000 series at CES, but at the last minute they decided not to do that. I don't know why they needed to change the numbering scheme, but whatever. Supposedly they have a new manager, and the manager wants to make sure they don't mess up yet another Radeon launch, and I think that's a good idea. If they need to take extra time to make sure they're ready to release, that's great. But they also need to make sure that they nail the price. And the current rumors are that they're going to charge between $499 and $599 for the 9070 XT. Now, I don't know how much it costs to make the 9070 XT, so maybe these figures are perfectly reasonable, but I can't imagine it costs more than $300 to make it, and it might be even cheaper than that. So charging $599 for a $300 graphics card, you might can get away with that if you're NVIDIA, but you're not NVIDIA, so I think you're going to have to accept less than that. So what if they charge $599? I think some people will go out and buy it, sure, but you're not going to have very good day one reviews of $599 based on the performance leaks that I've seen. And those negative reviews that you're going to get on day one are going to get seen for months and years into the future. That is going to permanently affect the public outlook on your product. I don't think you are going to have good reception. Maybe you'll squeeze some people in the first few weeks and months when it's $599, but you're going to have to drop the price, I'm sure. And all you did was made yourself look bad for a small amount of money, and you would have probably gotten way more sales if you priced it lower initially. So what about $549? Well, NVIDIA is going to price the 5070 at $549 and the 5070 Ti at $749. And again, this is for the Founders Edition. It's likely that partner models will be even more expensive. So if you're charging $549 for your 9070 XT and it's at least as good as the 5070 Ti or about there, you're going to make NVIDIA look pretty bad. I think you'll have better reception on day one and probably get more sales as well. But of course, there's still $499. If you want to capture everybody's attention and make people look like fools or aristocrats for buying NVIDIA, price it at $499. Again, I don't know how the margins will be, but I think you will have an incredible launch and sales numbers if you price the 9070 XT at $499. I want to briefly talk about the 9070 because we don't know that much about it right now, just that it'll be cut down from the 9070 XT. Not sure exactly how much, maybe 10%, maybe a little bit more, and it should also have 16 gigabytes of memory. If it is cut down by 10%, we have demonstrated in the past that a 10% discount is not enough. You did the same thing on the 7900 XT and the 7700 XT, and yeah, you got pretty bad reviews for that. You need to drop the price by more than 10%. If it's 10%-ish worse, because otherwise, why are people not going to buy the higher tier model? I don't know about the yields on the node that they're using, so it's possible they won't have very many to cut down. If that's the case, then price them pretty close together to upsell people to the higher model. But if you have a bunch you need to cut down, price it accordingly. 10% is not enough. And if you do price your stuff accordingly, they'll get positive feedback. I know. That's what you want on day one. You don't want, wow, they stuffed up the launch and nobody should buy this thing, and then you wait a year and, okay, well, we'll drop the price to what it should have been, and then people buy. You don't want to do that. So if you were going to price the 9070 XT at $549, the 9070 would be $464. That's with about a 15% discount. And of course, if you price it $499, $424. And again, this is the maximum. You can go lower, and you might have to go lower. Like I showed earlier, the 5070 is going to cost at least $549. So if you're selling this for like $424, that's a pretty hefty discount. And if the performance is similar or better, I think you're going to get a lot better sales than if you price this thing at like $500 and the 9070 XT at $600.